Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the Daily Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 27th as well as 28th March 2024, brought to you by Ganesh Academy. Okay, let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. Mentioned here are the list of articles which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. So have a look into it. Okay, these are all the articles which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. ICCC Farm Data Dashboard for the customized solution to the farmers. So this is the initiative being taken by Ministry of Agriculture. So what does this ICCC stands for, and what is the application side of it, and how it has been made, and what is the thing which could be expected from the future point of view with regards to the data, the initiatives that has been made by Ministry of Agriculture under ICCC. Okay. Before that, let's look into the relation of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains, it has been related with GS paper 3, economic development, through a subtopic called Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. So this is how the news has been related with examination. Okay, let's look into the further explanation part of the news. So the integrated ICCC stands for Integrated Command and Control Center, which was set up at Krishi Bhavan in New Delhi. And ICCC is the significant leap in leveraging technology for the advancement of the agriculture sector. So what is the Krishi ICCC, that is Integrated Command and Control Center, is about? So ICCC is the text-based solution which involves multiple IT applications as well as platforms designed to help in taking the informed decisions by the policymakers as well as the other stakeholders. So it comes under Ministry of Agriculture, as I said in the beginning of the news. ICCC uses state-of-the-art technologies like artificial intelligence, remote sensing, GIS to collect data as well as process data, and at the same time to produce the result that has been processed, which processed by the data that has been collected from the various sources. And these data are related to temperatures, rainfall, wind speed, crop yield, as well as the production estimates. So these are all the different kinds of data which will be gathered, processed, and the output will be given to the farmers at the comprehensive dashboard in the form of the comprehensive dashboard in various parameters like temperature, wind speed, crop yields, production estimates. So how the visual output will be? So it is a single dashboard. How the output will be? What can be expected from the dashboard? This is what the slide is about. So on 8 large 55-inch LED screens installed at the ICCC, information on the crop yields, production, drought situation, cropping pattern in map as well as the timeline, and also it will be drilling down to various micro level data. So these are all the things which could be expected from the dashboard. It also shows relevant trends, outliers, key performance indicators, and receives insight alerts and feedbacks on agricultural schemes, programs, projects, as well as various initiatives. So ICCC uses platforms which includes decision support system, which in agriculture term is called as Krishi decision system, to collect data at the micro level, process it, and at the same time present to the farmers as well as the common man to their understandable form. So ICCC as the contact center and help desk facility with the operators handset, which is capable of being converted into a call center at the future courses of time. And what is the objective of the ICCC? So what does this ICCC is? So ICCC will enable comprehensive monitoring of farm sectors by making available at one place the data that has been collected from various sources like the plot related data as well as the agricultural, the crop related data as well as the individual farmers related data as well as the weather pattern related data, so on and so forth. So these kind of data which are collected across sectors and across timelines and across the various different places will be gathered to a common place, and it will be processed and it will be made available to the individual farmers as well as the community of farmers at their understandable visual in their visual site. So the integrated visualization of the data will enable, so it will enable quick decision making as well as at the same time informed decision making by the individual farmers and for the other stakeholders like administrators as well as the policy makers. So ICCC ecosystem can also be linked with PM Kisan chatbot going forward. So this is what the objective of the ICCC is about. So can the command and control center generate individual farmer specific advisories? Yes. The ICCC can create an ecosystem based on which the individual farm level data could be arrived based upon the farmers data like their own Aadhaar card as well as the farmer centric data which could be collected through Kisan E-Mitra, which is a chatbot developed for PM Kisan beneficiaries. So through this chatbot, the farmers data could be collected so that the specific farmers and their relevant relevant data will be channelized to them, so that a specific individualized input could be given through this command center. So this is what the thing is about, and at the same time the AI machine learning based system will identify farmers, as I said, through their data like Aadhaar as well as the other farmer centric data, and it will be matching it with the farmers field information so that there won't be any kind of redundancy or duplication error, and it will be showing to them their customized solution or customized data which is required for the successful production or producing for in that particular cropping season. So it will also, and because based on this customized solution for the individual farmers could be arrived. So this is what the thing with regards to the dashboard that is ICCC is about. So what are the things which we needed to be further aware of is we should be aware of, and at the same time I forgot to mention about this. It is the yes, we have collected the data about the individual farmers and we have processed and we have customized the solution to each and every farmers according to the data that has been provided by the dashboard. So how this data could be translated into various regional languages. So this lag or this gap will be filled by the Bhashini platform, which is the AI based platform being introduced by government to ensure that every farmers as well as the other people will be receiving their services which is provided by the government in their regional language itself. So this is what the specialty about Bhashini portal is about. So we should be aware of what are the other specific features of this Bhashini portal, and at the same time we should be aware of what is national language knowledge platform. Thirdly, we should also be aware of what is AI as well as what is machine learning is. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Archaeological Survey of India will be delisting some 18 monuments. So what's happening in the Archaeological Survey of India and why it is delisting it? So these are all the things which we are going to analyze in the upcoming slides. Before that, let's look into the linkage of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news is related to Indian polity, governance, constitution. Similarly, under mains, it has been related with GS paper 2, Indian polity through a subtopic called statutory, regulatory and various quasi-judicial bodies. So this is how the news has been related with examination. Okay, let's look into the details of the news. So Archaeological Survey of India has decided to delist 18 centrally sponsored, centrally protected monuments that it was assessed are not of national importance. So that is the reason why it is going to delist it from the protected monuments. So these 18 are part of the earliest India's protected monuments, and it is being given as the national importance tag, because of which it has been given certain protection under the act. So this 18 monuments are right now being classified as untraceable. So that is the reason why it is going to delist it, and as a result of which the tag of the national importance will be removed from it. So this includes a medieval highway milestone recorded as the Khas Minar number 13 at the Mujisar village in Haryana, and Barakamba cemetery in Delhi, Gunnar Berg Hills in Tom in Jhansi district, a cemetery of Gauhat in Lucknow, and Telia Nala Buddhist ruins in the Varanasi. So these are all the important things that are going to be delisted. So the precise location of this monument or their current physical state is not known. So, what does this delisting is? So what does this delisting mean? So ASI, which works under Ministry of Culture, is responsible for protecting as well as maintaining certain monuments as well as archaeological sites that have been declared as national importance under two statutory acts, that is Ancient Monument Preservation Act 1904 and Ancient Monument Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958. In short form, it is called as AMASR Act. So delisting a monument means it will no longer be conserved as well as be protected by the Archaeological Survey of India under AMASR Act. And at the same time, under AMASR Act, any kind of construction related activities is not allowed around the protected site. So if the protected tag is going to be removed, means this kind of construction activity will be functioning without any kind of hindrance from this AMASR Act. Once the monument has been delisted, as I said, the construction related construction as well as the urbanization expansion related activities will be conducted without any kind of hindrance from this act. So what does it mean for a monument to be untraceable? So under AMASR Act, it protects the monuments and sites that are more than 100 years old. It includes temple, cemeteries, inscription, tombs, forts, palaces, so on and so forth. These sites are scattered across the country, and over the decades, some have been lost because of activities like urbanization, encroachment, construction of dams, reservoirs, or sheer negligence by the governance. And under the AMASR Act, the ASI should regularly inspect the protected monuments. So in the case of encroachment, ASI can file a police complaint and it could be able to issue a show cause notice for the removal of encroachment, and it could communicate to the local administration to remove the encroachments. So this is what the power the ASI holds with regards to the protection of the monuments. So if such kind of thing hasn't been happening in the country uniformly since the independence. AI was founded in 1861. The bulk of currently protected monuments were taken under ASI wing from 1920 to 1950. But in decades after, that is immediately after independence, the government spends its meager resource for the development of health, education as well as various social sector initiatives. So as a result of which, it has allocated only a meager fund for the protection as well as conservation of the monuments. The ASI also concentrated more on uncovering new monuments rather than protecting as well as conserving the existing one. So these are all the various lacunae that has been founded in the function of the ASI over the period of time. So how many historical monuments have been lost in this way? So in December 22, Ministry of Culture submitted to the Parliamentary Standing Committee a data. What it has said is that 50 of India's 3,693 centrally protected monuments were missing. 14 of these were due to rapid urbanization, 12 were submerged by the reservoirs, and among them 24 were untraceable until now. And the committee was informed that the security guards were posted only at 248 monuments out of the 3,693 monuments. So of the 7,000 personnel that has been required for the actual functioning for the purpose of protection as well as the conservation of the monuments, only 2,578 personnel have been sanctioned by the government. So there is a gap in the personnel related thing with regards to the administration of the monuments or the archaeological sites in India. So was the 2002 the first time that the disappearance of these monuments were made noticed? No. ASI told that no comprehensive physical survey of all the monuments haven't been taken yet. In 2013, a report by Comptroller Auditor General of India has said that at least 92 centrally protected monuments across the country has gone missing. So the CAG report said that the ASI did not have the reliable information with regards to the conclusion of the data for the monuments in India. So the parliamentary panel noted that out of the 92 monuments that have been declared missing, 42 have been identified due to the effort by the government, and of the remaining 50, 26 were accounted for. So as mentioned earlier, the remaining 24 hasn't been traceable yet. So this is what the data that been produced by constitutional bodies like CAG before 2022. So what are all the things which we needed to be further aware of is, we should be aware of what does this Ek Bharat, Shastra Bharat scheme is about. Secondly, we should also be aware of what are all the centenary celebrations that has been made throughout this year. And thirdly, we should be aware of what is the scheme for financial assistance for promotion of art and culture is about. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. So India's TB report 2024, what it has said is that missing cases has been shrinking. 95% got treatment in 2023. So this was what the news is about. Let's look into the further details of the news. Before that, let's look into the linkage of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news is related to current events of national as well as international importance. Similarly, under mains, it has been related with awareness in the field of IT, space, computers, robotics, nanotech, biotech, and issues relating to IPR. So this is how the news has been related with the examination or the syllabus. So let's look into it, the explanation part of the news. So the gap between the estimated as well as the actual TB case is closing. According to TB report by Union Ministry of Health, what it has said is that the missing cases are assumed to have not received any treatment and they are continuing to spread infection to other people those who are living in their surroundings. So there were only 2.3 lakh missing cases in 2023 as compared to 3.2 lakh cases in the previous year. So the number has been reduced over the years with the government's NI Nikshay portal, which has been tracking all the TB patients. So according to the report, the majority of the TB cases are still being reported from the government sectors only. Even though there is a spike in the cases that has been reported from the private sectors, still the case that has been reported from the government sector is dominating. So nearly 33% or 8.4 lakh of the out of the 25.5 lakh cases reported in 2023 came from the private sectors. So which is higher when compared to the 2015 level. So during 2015 only 1.9 lakh cases have been reported from the private sectors. Why 2015 has been taken as a cutoff line is because this year is considered to be the baseline by the program that has been implemented by the India to eliminate the TB. So the incidence of TB has increased slightly to 27.8 lakhs from 27.4 lakhs from the previous year. So mortality due to the infection have remained stable as compared to the previous year. So it is 3.2 lakh this year, and same is the case for the previous year also. There is no increase or decrease of the mortality rate. So these estimates are based on the new methodology that has been developed by India, which has been accepted by World Health Organization. So based on the in-country model which has been developed by India to calculate or measure the TB cases in India, there was sudden drop in the mortality figures that has been brought out by the global TB report by WHO. So in that, the India's TB mortality has dropped from 4.94 lakhs in 2021 to 3.31 lakhs in 2022. So this is what the thing is about, and the number of cases reported in the year also went down from 29.4 lakh in 21 to 27.4 lakh in 2022, according to the data that has been published by Global Health TB report. So this is what the data is about, and the report also shows that India has reached its 2023 target of initiating treatment in 95% of patients diagnosed with the infection. So in that, 58 of those diagnosed were given a test to check whether their infection were resistant to first line drugs, which is the increase from 25% in 2015. And at the same time, the program recommends drug susceptibility treatment to ensure that the people who may have drug resistant TB or also have access to therapies from the get-go instead of being treated with the first line therapy. So this is what the data that has been brought out by the India's TB report 2024. So what are the things which we needed to be further aware of is, we should be aware of what is virus, what is bacteria, protozoan as well as fungus, and what are all the different kinds of diseases that has been spread by this various microbes. Secondly, we should also be aware of what is cancer and what are all the different types of cancer that has been prevailing in India and what is the severity of it. Thirdly, we should also be aware of what is the structure, function as well as the objective of World Health Organization. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. State of employment in India. So what a new report says about youth, women, concern as well as caution. So this is what the news is about. So let's look into the linkage of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains, it has been related with Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. This is how the news has been related with examination. So there have been a paradoxical improvement in labor market indicators such as labor force participation rate, workforce participation rate as well as unemployment rate in the recent years after a long deterioration, that is from 2000 to 2019 time period. So the improvement has coincided with the economic distress which has arisen because of the COVID pandemic, and it has been brought out by Indian Institute for Human Development as well as ILO, the International Labour Organization. So the big picture, what are the data that has been brought out by it? So the report flagged a concern about the poor employment condition, that is there has been slow transition to non-farm sectors which has been reversed in the recent times post 2019. Secondly, the women largely account for an increase in self-employment as well as the unpaid family work, as well as youth employment is of poor quality than the employment for adults, and wages and earnings are stagnated or declining after the 2019. So this is what the concerns that has been brought out by the report, and the employment condition index have improved between 2004-5 to 2021-22 time period, but some states like Bihar, Odisha, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh have remained at the bottom throughout this period, and there are states like Delhi, Himachal, Telangana, Uttarakhand, Gujarat have always stayed at the top during this time period, and the index is based on 7 labor indicators, that is percentage of workers that have been employed in regular formal work, and percentage of casual laborers. Thirdly, the percentage of self-employed workers, and work participation rate, and average monthly earning of casual laborers, and unemployment rate of secondary as well as above education youth, and youth not in employment as well as education in training. So this is what the various labor related indicators that has been calculated under this index. So employment quality. So what kind of employment that has been produced in India? So informal employment have risen over the period of time. Self-employment and unpaid family work have also increased, especially for women. Among 82% of workforce that has been engaged in the informal sectors, nearly 90% informally employed. So self-employment remains almost the primary source of employment, that is 55.8% in 2022. Casual as well as regular employment accounted for only 22.7 as well as 21.5% respectively. The share of self-employment remained almost stable between 2000 and 2019, that is 52%. The regular employment increased during this period from it has been increased by 10% from 14.2% to 23.8%. So the reverse in trend has happened after 2019. So the self-employment has right now been increased to 55.8%, while the regular employment have been declined to 21.5%. So the regular employment is generally being linked with social security benefits as well as the stable income, and also at the same time stability in the job. While at the same time, so this is what the concerns that has been brought out by the report is. The decline in the regular work is raising a concern because the regular employment is being linked with the social security benefits, which is not the case with the informal as well as the other self-employment related works. So the participation of women. So what is the condition of women with regards to the labor force participation? The female labor force participation in India has remained among the world's lowest, because the female's labor force participation have declined by 14.4 percentage point between 2000 and 2019 time period. The trend reversed after 2019. The female labor force participation have grown by 8.3 percentage between 19 to 22. So there is a gender gap in it, that is women labor force participation is 32.8 in 2022, while in the case of men's labor force participation it is 77.2 percentage, which is more than double. Global average is 47.3 percentage. So we could be able to see that India's average women's labor force participation is way below when compared to the global women's labor force participation. Structural transformation. In terms of structural transformation, there has been reversal of the slow transition to the non-farm employment has been happening post 2019. The share of agriculture in total employment have fell from 42% in 60% in 2000 to 42% in 19. The shift was largely observed by construction as well as the service sector. The share of manufacturing in the employment has remained stagnant over the period of time, and since 2018-19, this slow transition has stagnated or reversed with rise in the share of agriculture employment. So, with regards to youth employment, what is the data that has been brought out by the reporters? So, there is a rise in youth employment, but the quality of work remains a concern, especially for quality young workers. Youth employment as well as underemployment has increased between 2000 and 2019, but it has declined during as well as the pandemic years. However, the unemployment among youth, especially those with the secondary level as well as or the graduated youth, have intensified over the time. In 2022, the share of unemployed youth in the total unemployed population was 82.9%. The share of educated youth among all the unemployed youth also increased to 65.7% in 2022 from 54.2% in 2000. The unemployment rate among youth was 6 times greater for those who had completed the secondary or higher education and 9 times higher for those who have completed their graduates when compared to those who could not able to read or write. So this was higher among educated women when compared to the educated men, and in terms of graduates it is higher among graduated female when compared to the graduated men. So the unemployment rate among the educated youth also grown to 30.8% in 2019 from 23.9% in 2000, but it fell to 18.4% in 2022. So this is what the data that has been brought out by report across various indicators. So what is the way forward that has been put out by the reporters? See, there are 5 key policy areas that need to be focused by the policy makers. That is, they are promoting the job creation, improving the employment quality, addressing the labor market inequalities, strengthening skills and active labor market policies, and bridging the knowledge deficit on labor and youth employment. So this is what the thing that need to be focused by the policymakers according to the suggestion that has been brought out by the report. Secondly, the rise of artificial intelligence could have an impact on the employment in Indian service sectors, because it could able to weed out the outsource that has been provided by outsource related jobs that has been given by the other Western countries and the other global countries, and this is a concern that has been raised by it, which need to be looked into. And investment as well as regulations are required in the emerging care and digital economy, which could be important source of productive employment in the future courses of time. And the lack of job security irregular wages as well as uncertainty in the job status need to be looked into. And economic policies are required to boost the productive non-farm employment, especially in the manufacturing sectors, with India likely to add 7 to 8 million youths annually to labor force during the next decades. So a demographic dividend is going to be increased in the upcoming decade, which need to be capitalized by India because by aligning the economic policy in tune with it. And more support need to be provided to small scale enterprises, so that, and at the same time they need to be integrated with the emerging technologies like artificial intelligence as well as the other digital technologies, in order to reduce the job losses that has been arising because of the losses that has been occurring in the MSME sectors because of the rise of digitalization as well as the artificial intelligence. So this is what the various way forward that has been brought out by the report. So what are all the things which we needed to be further aware of is, we should be aware of industrial policy, manufacturing policy, as well as the employment related scheme, as well as the National Sample Survey Organization. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. So let's look into today's practice prelims question. Mentioned here is the today's practice prelims question. So those students, those who are watching this session online, please do comment the option point for the question which you are seeing right now on the board. So with this, we have reached the end of today's session. So do like, comment, share, as well as subscribe Ganesh's YouTube channel, so that you will be receiving daily current affairs session notification, and also weekly environment as well as the science and tech related notification, and also other important exam related sessions that will be brought to you in the future by Ganesh Academy. Thank you.